If you like my videos, don't forget to follow me on social media to keep up to date with all the latest news regarding my channel and my content. And most importantly, don't forget to subscribe below or at the end of the video. Marvel's Black Panther is the final movie in the Marvel Cinematic Universe to be released before the highly anticipated Avengers Infinity War later this year. And just like most Marvel movies, Black Panther holds some clues, hints, and blatant links towards its successor. In this video, I'll discuss how Black Panther leads into Infinity War, and what impact the movie has on the wider MCU. Usually I'm not one for speculation, so I'm strictly going to lay out the things that have been clearly set up in the movie. Additionally, I will detail the movie's 2 credit scenes and explain the meanings behind them. Before we get into this, it goes without saying that this video contains enormous spoilers for Black Panther, as well as for the first issue of the Avengers Infinity War Prelude comic. So if you haven't seen the movie and you don't want spoilers, then turn this video off right now. You've been warned. If you're sticking with me, let's get into it. Wakanda and the UN. The first credit scene in Black Panther shows T'Challa speaking at a meeting of the United Nations in Vienna. The UN, of course, were the global organization behind the Sokovia Accords and Captain America's Civil War, at a meeting of which T'Challa's father, T'Chaka, was killed. This scene was strangely shown in the movie's many promotional trailers, marking the first Marvel movie to actually reveal one of its post-movie scenes before its release. However, my guess is this scene was probably originally part of the movie itself in early cuts, before being relegated to a credit scene, given that it doesn't seem all that disconnected from the rest of the movie. Throughout the movie, T'Challa spends a great deal of effort trying to keep the secrets of Wakanda safe from the rest of the world, just as they always have been. In his speech, however, T'Challa, the now king and leader of the Recluse Nation, vows to share his technology with the rest of the world, allowing them the same level of advancement as the sovereign nation has had for generations. This is quite a long speech, but to give you the gist of it all, some of T'Challa's standout lines include, "For the first time in history, we will be sharing our knowledge and resources. We will no longer watch from the shadows. We must find a way to look after one another as if we were one single tribe." This isn't a scene that seems as important as past credit scenes, but it's worth noting here for the simple fact that this is Wakanda vowing to share their resources and technology with the world. Something that's most likely going to come into play during Infinity War. Thanos and his super strong army are going to be bringing down some pretty high-tech weaponry with them. And the best bet for both the global governing bodies and the Avengers will be to fight back with Wakandan tech, the most advanced technology in existence. The White Wolf. Though the second scene is pretty short, it's the most important and interesting of the two. There's very minimal dialogue here, so I was actually able to transcribe it fairly easily. The scene opens to 3 Wakandan children huddled together in a hut. The camera looks up to them as they look down to the floor. A rustle is heard within the hut and the 3 children run outside. As they run out, Shuri is standing by a lake. For some background here, Shuri is T'Challa's sister and the most intelligent mind on Wakanda, running the country's technological design team. Shuri is so intelligent that she considers herself smarter than Tony Stark. Back to the clip. In the clip, Shuri turns to the children and asks, "Are you playing around with that man again?" The children begin to chant, "White Wolf, White Wolf, White Wolf," as Bucky Barnes emerges, his arm in a sling, from the hut. The children disperse and Bucky approaches Shuri. "Good morning, Sergeant Barnes." "Bucky, how are you feeling?" "Good, thank you." The two look out over the lake for a moment before Shuri says with a sense of urgency, "Come, much more for you to learn," as she disappears from screen, Bucky in tow. First of all, I should mention that this is Bucky's only appearance in the movie, so it's a nice little cameo and an obvious lead into Infinity War. There's a few interesting things to come out of this post scene. First of all is the nickname Bucky has been given by the Wakandans, White Wolf. In the comics, White Wolf was the alias given to Hunter, an adoptive son of King T'Chaka following the death of his parents in Wakanda. Before the birth of T'Challa, Hunter was the only son of T'Chaka and the heir apparent to his throne. However, when T'Challa was born, Hunter's right to the throne was obviously revoked because he's not of royal blood. Jealous of T'Challa, Hunter devoted his life to becoming the best Wakandan possible, and over time developed enhanced senses, strength, and agility amongst other strengths. Hunter became so advanced as a Wakandan that when he came of age, T'Chaka appointed him the leader of the Hatut Zaraze, Wakanda's secret police, and from that moment he became known as the White Wolf. Now obviously Hunter and Bucky are two different characters, but Marvel Studios have been known to change up storylines and mix and amalgamate different characters from time to time. The fact that Bucky, the once Winter Soldier, is known as the White Wolf by the Wakandans, who have taken him in for mental and physical therapy, serves as a pretty solid evidence that Bucky will be taking up the mantle of the leader of the Zaraze. A couple of scenes in the Infinity War trailer would also point to this being the case, as Bucky appears to be leading an army of warriors in the battle against Thanos and his Black Order. Shuri's line that Bucky has much more to learn tells us that he's probably taking some kind of combat training by the Dora Milaje, perhaps in his preparation to become the leader of the Zaraze. Bucky's appearance in the Infinity War trailer tells us that by the events of the movie, Bucky still hasn't left Wakanda. This makes me assume that he's probably sticking around in some kind of formal role. Bucky rehabilitated. In the end credits scene of Civil War, Bucky is seen voluntarily going into a cryosleep in a Wakandan lab as part of an effort to purge his mind of the mental programming he endured during the Winter Soldier program. Considering Bucky appears quite prominently in the Infinity War trailer, we already knew that he would be rehabilitated at some point, but whether it was to be during Infinity War or earlier remained unanswered. However, given that Bucky has been thawed from his cryosleep during the events of Black Panther, we can establish now that he has been rehabilitated prior to the events of Infinity War. But how is the question? If we take a look at the first issue of the Infinity War Prelude comic, not the Black Panther Prelude comic strangely enough, there's a sequence where Shuri explains to T'Challa how she's made a breakthrough in Bucky's treatment, explaining that she's found an algorithm to, in her words, flush the influence of trigger words out while retaining the core context and content of those original memories, essentially rebooting him. Shuri's much more to learn line could also have an alternate meaning. Perhaps by the end of Black Panther, Bucky is still undertaking mental training. This, however, is something that we won't likely know until Infinity War. Also interesting to note is that at this point, Bucky is still missing his bionic arm. In the Infinity War trailer, he has a new one, so it appears that we'll see him get it during the movie. Perhaps it'll be one made from vibranium, fashioned by Shuri herself. The Soul Stone. As shown by the Infinity War trailer, Wakanda has quite a large role to play in one of the film's major sequences. We're not sure exactly why Wakanda has become a battleground in the Infinity War just yet. One rumor places the final Infinity Stone, the Soul Stone, on Wakanda. The Soul Stone is not seen in Black Panther, so don't waste your time looking out for it. While this doesn't necessarily mean that the stone isn't on Wakanda, it does mean that the final Infinity Stone will first be seen in Infinity War itself. Is it possible that if the stone isn't in Wakanda, Thanos' Black Order has invaded Wakanda because of Bucky? We know that Bucky, or Winter Soldier at least, still has a big target on his head and many are after him. The final line of the mid-credits of Civil War tells us this blatantly.
You know, if they find out he's here, they'll come for him. Let them try.
So is this a foreshadowing of the Infinity War raging on Wakanda because of Bucky? Probably unlikely, because so far we haven't seen anything that makes Bucky a target for Thanos. Whatever the reason, this still seems fairly open-ended, and we likely won't know until Infinity War lands. Captain America's new shield. As we saw in Civil War, Captain America is now without a shield, and as the Infinity War trailer shows us, he'll be getting a new one, or two. One big question surrounding the movie has been whether his new shield will show up in Black Panther. Again, the answer is no. However, aside from the trailer, a prematurely released Infinity War figure shows Captain America with a new metal shield.
And get this man a shield.
If Cap is getting his shield on Wakanda, we assume that this will be a vibranium shield, just as his original one was. So, is Cap being given a shield by the Wakandan army or someone else? Looking closely at the fight sequences in Black Panther, I didn't see any shields that looked like the one from the action figure being used by the Wakandan army. My guess is Cap's new shield comes directly from Shuri, who has perhaps fashioned a brand new state-of-the-art shield for Cap made from vibranium. If this is the case, that's a nice little tie-in with the movie. And with that, we cover off every Infinity War tie-in from Black Panther. Did I miss any? Did you spot anything else? Fire away in the comments below. If you're a first time viewer of my channel and you've liked this video and would like to see more like it in the future, then please give me some support and hit that big old like button up on your screen right now. To all my regular viewers out there, thank you once again for joining me. To absolutely everybody, don't forget to hit that like button down below. It does a great deal in getting these videos out there. I hope I'll see you all again soon, guys. Until then, take care, and I hope you have a marvelous day.